What's up, y'all? Today I want to talk about why it's so hard for unbelievers to become believers. As you may know, I was once an atheist, so I understand the mindset. I understand the mentality of atheists. And it is a love for this world. That is one of the biggest things that will keep us trapped in sin, will keep us trapped in temptation, is a love for this world. And that is hanging around with the wrong people, being around the wrong group, and being scared to be alone. We are scared. Unbelievers especially are scared to be alone. So they will hang around with the people who they shouldn't be hanging around with just to feel some type of camaraderie, just to feel some type of community. Tupac said, I hung out with the thugs, and even though they sold drugs, they showed a young brother love. We gonna look for love wherever we can find it, even if it's in the wrong places. Even if it kills us, even if we know that it's unhealthy and it's sinful. If you can't find love with your mom, with your dad, with your family, with God, you're going to look for the streets. You're going to look for whoever's giving you or what you perceive as it. The reason unbelievers are so caught in unbelieving is a love for this world. They may not know it. They may not think of it like that. They just might think that, hey, it sounds dumb. Like the Bible is old myths, old fairy tales, old fables. It just sounds impossible because they're brainwashed, not knowing they're brainwashed by the culture. They're brainwashed by the society. They're brainwashed by the schools, by what they're telling them to believe. And if we're not able to be alone, it's going to be hard to break out of that cycle of being lukewarm, a believer, being, half a believer, being in the middle. It's going to be hard to break out of that cycle because you're going to love the world too much. You're going to always go back to the world. You're going to always go back to what you're familiar with and what feels pleasant to you. And that is one of the main reasons unbelievers are not believers or are lukewarm. Jesus said, I like warm. He said, I like hot. I like cold, but lukewarm, I spit it out. So pick a side, If you're going to be a Christian, be that. If you're going to be an unbeliever, be that. And have the guts to say it. But don't be a Christian living like an unbeliever. At least pick a side, because there are really only two sides. There's hot and cold. There's evil and good. And another reason unbelievers are stuck as unbelievers is a love for sin. Sin feels good. It's something that we want. It wouldn't be a temptation if we didn't desire it. It wouldn't be a temptation if it wasn't hard not to do. But it's a temptation because, we want it. Our flesh want it. We have a fallen nature. We are human beings with a fallen nature. And people may not understand this, but when we were born, into this world. We were born into sin, just like you don't have to teach a baby how to lie, steal, etc. They will naturally do that. So when people say that babies are automatically good, that is a lie. We have to teach them morals and whatnot. So a love for sin is a reason that unbelievers, you can make all kind of excuses, like I did when I was a atheist. You can make all kinds of excuses as to why you don't believe in God, but really, you just like sin, bro. You like what you're doing. You don't want to give up your pleasures. You don't want to give up your life for Jesus. Okay, cool. Do you? Just know it's an outcome, and just know the life you live in is a better way than that. There's a better way than that, If you keep doing that, keep going on that cycle, you'll see where it gets you. And it is pain, misery, suffering, depression, and whatever else, bro. So unbelievers are in love with this world. They're in love with sin. They're too scared to be by themselves. They don't have the guts for loneliness, bro. There is power in isolation. I've been by myself for a while now. Really since late 2019. I haven't had any close friends. And in this time in isolation, I have learned a lot about myself, my soul, what I want, what I like. I learned about God. I really built a strong bond and a closer relationship to God, because I don't have people from the outside world pushing me away, trying to get me to do Satan's will, trying to get me to smoke, drink, etc. And that was one of the biggest things that I could have done to help me get there. If I was still hanging around my old friends, I would have been probably doing what I've been doing, listening to the music I was listening to, smoking, drinking, popping pills, doing all the dumb stuff, and not really giving myself time to think about what I'm actually doing. There is such a power in isolation and being by yourself. When Jesus fasted, what did he do? He went to the wilderness by himself to get time with him and God. John the Baptist went by himself to get time with him and God. You see, over and over again, these people, these men of God, they go through seasons of isolation and loneliness to really build their faith and build their relationship and build their bond with the Most High, to be able to hear his voice better, to be able to hear his voice compared to the noise, the outside world, to all that stuff that is constantly distracting us. And that is and if you're struggling, if you are a Christian and you are struggling with sin, temptation, and all that, ask yourself, what are you doing? Who are you hanging around? Who are you constantly texting, calling, being around, trying to be friendly with? Because you can't be friends with everybody. You might need a season of isolation to build your bond with God. You might need that, if I'm being honest. And that will help you so much. It's so helpful. It is. A season of isolation can break bondages, addictions, depression. Bro, it can do a lot. It can break habits that you don't like. It can do a whole lot. Because we want to do what our environment does. We want to do what the people around us do When we feel left out, we feel it sucks, bro. And that's human nature, you know. We can't bypass that. That's what's in us. We want to do what the people around us are doing. That's why it's up to us to be around godly people, be around holy people, be around people who influence us the right way. Be around people who we want to be like, you know, who we can look up to their character. That is so important, because if we don't, we're going to keep falling back into temptation, keep falling back into sin, doing what our environment is doing. You know this. Why would you be why would you want to stop smoking marijuana but hanging around people who smoking? You're going to pick up a blunt eventually. If you want to stop eating junk food, but all you do is be around those people who try to get you to eat it, what's going to happen, bro? It's a certain amount. It's healthy boundaries we must put up in our world. And I understand a lot of times it's impossible to be isolated. So there's healthy boundaries we must put up. Like, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing that and that. We must shun certain things. The definition of shun is to reject and avoid. Reject and avoid. Because it's displeasing to us. So we must shun a lot of things. People start talking about things, shun it, reject it, avoid it, ignore it. Reject, avoid, and ignore. We must do these things. When people start talking about stuff that we're trying to get away from, they're laughing about it. But like, bro, that's not even a joke. That's not nothing funny. That's serious. And I'm not about to sit here and entertain it and act like it's not a big deal, because it is. It's a very big deal. So I just want to let y'all know today that if you are struggling with giving your life to Christ, ask yourself, do you love this world more than you love God? Do you love the things of this world more than you love God? Do you love sin more than you love God? If so, what do you need to do to fix that? Do you need to isolate yourself? Do you need to cut off certain people, cut off certain things, cut off certain habits? What must I do to not fall back into these temptations? You must ask yourself these things. These are questions that are hard. But on the other side is a rainbow. Not the LGBTQ rainbow, but the rainbow that God put in the sky after the flood. If you know what I'm saying. But, yeah, man. I hope y'all have a good one. I hope y'all take care. I'm out of here.